Abstention? Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and committee members. We have two items for your consideration today. The first item is a library. It's a Capitol Hill Library renovation and expansion. It is located on 344 Southwest 26th Street. We are requesting allocation of $100,000 in the 2000 GEO bond library interest funds to be allocated to MB-0787, which is this project. The library was built in 1952, and it's 64 years old. It needs to be expanded and also need to have more parking spaces. We received bids, 7 bids on June the 2nd, 2016. The low bid was $4,279,960, and the bid analysis showed that it is to the best interest of the city to award it, even though it was a little over our estimated cost. The project is funded by 3 funding sources, $2.5 million from GEO bond, $838,000 is from the capital improvement program funding, and also the library system is putting $1.1 million. So we have $4.4 million available to award this project. It is planned to be awarded on next week from Tuesday, which is July 19th. And the additional funding we are asking is for the contingency during construction, and that's should give us enough to go through the construction for any changes, change orders, amendments that may come along. To give you some numbers, the existing library has a basement, which is about 1,700 square feet. First floor has 8,200 square feet area. Second floor has 5,800 square feet, and the garage is about 2,000 square feet. The overall footprint of the library is about 9,200 square feet, and what we are expanding, the first floor will be expanded by about 9,200 square feet. So the first floor, after it's done, will have 17,400 square feet of space. Also, the existing parking lot, if we go back to the map, the existing numbers for parking lot, there were 31 existing and 2 ADA assigned parking spaces. We are adding 28 more regular space and 1 ADA signed. So you're going to have a total of 59 regular parking spaces and 3 ADA assigned parking space. There are 12 on-street parking, which are going to be remain the same. So those will be available also after the project is done. Any questions I can accommodate?
I have some questions. This is my favorite library. It's the library I grew up in, and now I take my kids to this library. And I wanted to ask you a question here about the justification. It says that they're to cover possible contract amendments. Are the possible contract amendments everything you just mentioned? Would those be the possible ones, or are they unknown?
Yes, normally on any project we try to put 10% of the overall cost into, set aside for construction contingencies. And on a building projects, we've roughly been having 5 to 7%. So we believe that whatever money is left is going to be enough to cover any change orders contingency. Now, if there is no changes amendments, we would not be spending that money. It would go back to a control account for other library usage.
So there really is no way to know now what those possible amendments will be until,
Right, I mean, we go through the design, architect design, all of this, but usually when you do renovation and expansion, when you open up the walls and stuff like that, you don't know what you're going to get into. So, there has to be some contingency to cover anything that comes.
well, yeah, it is a very old library. This is a library also where, before I was even born, my mother learned how to speak English because of English classes at this library. And so the renovations were long overdue and groundbreaking next month. Very exciting. I don't have any other questions personally. So if there's no further questions, I'd like to make the motion to approve.
Second by Mr. Francis. No other questions or comments? Those approving, aye? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Motion carries.
All right, item 3B, this is a traffic project. We are requesting allocation of $80,000 in the 2007 GO bond, unlisted traffic funds to be used for a traffic signal installation at South Mustang Road or State Highway 4 and Southwest 44th Street. Basically, we are going to be a joint venturing with the Oklahoma Department of Transportation. They will be putting up 75% of funds to put up a signal. And justification for this is the Traffic Commission approved the installation of traffic on their October 20th, 2014 meeting. Our traffic staff have studied this location, and we go by the Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices for Street and Highways, which is by Federal Highway Administration. There are 9 warrants, we call it, to study any location for new traffic signal. And those look at the vehicular volume, pedestrian volumes, any school crossings, coordination of other signals in the same roadway system, also any crash or accident experiences at locations, also any roadway network that has different signals, and also any new grade crossings such as railroad crossing we also look at. This particular location warrants 2 criteria, which is for 4-hour vehicular warrant and the peak hour warrant. And as you see, if we go back to the original map, the traffic counts on State Highway 4 is about 20,000, and on Southwest 44th is about 2,000. So as you see, there's a big difference in the traffic volumes. And this will definitely help the traffic movement in that area. There are, crashes in this location, but they weren't enough to warrant a crash. But as far as the volume, it does warrant. So any one warrant can justify a traffic signal, but of course, it also has engineering judgment. The traffic staff look at all of it to make sure that the new traffic signal is warranted. So, a location may warrant more than 2 or more than 1, but they may analyze and say adding a traffic signal may not be really helpful. But in this case, it's recommended that it would improve the traffic movement through this intersection. So the $80,000 is basically $75,000 is our share of 25%, and also $5,000 is for any design and administrative costs that the city has to bear for this project. Any questions I can?
Questions or comments? Anybody?
Move we approve.
Do I hear a second? Linda, thank you. Those approving, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. The motion carries.
Okay. I have several informational items for you since we only had 2 items. So wanted to entertain you with some information. As of June 30th, 2016, our fiscal year 17 has started. So I want to share with you what project we are planning. In your packet, you got a detailed projects list, so you can look at those projects. But in summary, we are looking at a goal of $70 million again for this fiscal year. And we estimate the project, how much they would cost, and that's a little bit over 70. The 71.9 million is what we are estimating all of our projects will be. And in order of value, resurfacing, we have 14 projects at $24.4 million value. Second is street widening. We got 7 of them for $21.7 million. Reconstruction or streetscape projects are 5 of them at $7.5 million. We have 15 park improvements at about $6 million total. We also have 3 drainage projects at $5.3 million. We have 1 library, $2.5 million. Bridges, we have 5 at $2.4 million. We have 9 traffic signals or other improvements at $1.9 million. And we have a mitigation project. This is the tree planting that is at Chisholm Creek, south of Northwest 178 on Western Ave, that is required by Army Corps of Engineers, so we will be bidding that in this fall. If I can entertain any questions.
I have a quick question. These projects then are vetted by city staff, is that correct?
Yes, these are basically the projects, based on their readiness, we put them on the list to be delivered. And some of these have been sold back in May. So we have received the funding for them, so we can go ahead and award the projects.
And again, I understand they're not action items for this body, but the question I have is, have they or will they be ultimately approved by the council, or has the council already done that?
Well, any contract that we do, whether it's engineering or a construction contract, will go to the city council for action.
Well, I understand that. I'm talking about the timetable. Does that, this piece of information, has the council seen this, or will they see it in that way? I'm just curious about the process.
Well, this is an internal plan because, we do place these projects as best as we know where they are in the system. And sometimes we have to substitute projects, if we have some utility conflicts on a project that cannot.
If you have what?
If we have, say, utility conflicts or relocations, we may have to substitute other projects that are ready to go. So, we estimate and project what we will be delivering, but, the list you see there, definitely.
Okay, I just was curious as to how, other than staff, if there's any other kind of body that reviews this and gives it okay.
Well, this list has gone through the Bond Oversight Committee.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
You have seen it, but I don't believe it goes to the city council.
Okay.
And Ahmad, are these all listed projects?
Yes.
So the original
I see.
list of these would have been approved.
Okay, that's right.
When we did the authorization. So if they're probably 2007 authorizations, so
Yeah.
council would have approved them when they approved
That makes
that
sense.
whole list.
But
yeah.
in terms of the projects for like the coming years, what I was getting at,
Yeah, no, that is
That's-
probably handled internally.
that's the bond oversight, that's Jim
But you
Costa.
do see the list of projects that we sell every year, and they pretty much follow.
Okay.
Do you attach that when we do the bond sale? Or
Yes,
do you, I mean, we sell by proposition, so we don't have to, but we do something that we attach.
Yes.
Do we say it's tentative, though? I mean, that it can change, or do we stick to that list?
The list of the sale is basically final when it goes to city council. And we
So
will-
you attach the specific projects, not just the proposition?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
So
There's
they-
an
Well, then they
attachment to
have
the
approved that
resolution.
list according to Ahmad for each sale year.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, there's a
Okay.
resolution.
I didn't realize we did that.
Yeah, there's a resolution that goes with the listing of the projects.
Okay. I know we've done that in the past, but legal had actually said don't do that because you're tying your hands more, so I didn't know we were still doing that. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Very good.
All right. All right, item 4B, this is another informational item. Again, in your packet, you will see more detail of the numbers that this graph is based on. This is basically a 10-year graph chart for our GeoBond program. I thought it'd be good to share this with you. This shows you about average between fiscal year 2008 and 2016. We averaged $69 million annually that we delivered projects. And in those years, we sold $618.5 million worth of bond. And the total value of these also is very close, $621 million. So the average sale of $69 million and average delivery $69 million happened to be the same, which kind of surprised me, but it is an average. Some years we go above, and some years we go below. So the average is 69, but the highest was almost $80 million in the 2007-2008 fiscal year, and at that year we sold $84 million worth of bond sales, and also there were a combination of the 2000 GeoBond and 2007 GeoBond. And the lowest was in fiscal year 2011, 2012. We delivered $48 million. And the main reason for that was several street widening projects could not make it because they had utility relocation and conflicts. So they were delivered the following fiscal year. Any questions I can accommodate? Okay, information item.
Go ahead.
All right. Information item C, basically this is to share with you some of the completed projects that we finished last fiscal year, 2015-2016. Back in December, we shared with you some of the projects that were completed from July of 2015 to the beginning of December 2016. So the projects I'm going to show you here are basically from December of 2015 to June of 2016. We finished or finally accepted a total of 46 projects, and the final construction cost of those were $122.6 million. And our initial award that we started them was $117.7 million. So the overall amendments and change orders were 4.2%, which is very good. But by law, we are allowed to go up to 10% on any project that is over $1 million for change orders. There's no limit to the amendment. So this is a very good record on keeping the projects basically on budget and in a good shape. What we finished 10 widening projects. There were $44.8 million total for those. We had 5 facility building projects that were $31.9 million. Parks and Recreation had 9 projects in different parks, and they were total $18.9 million. We had 5 streetscape projects that we finished at $14.9 million. We had 8 resurfacing projects at $9.1 million. We had 4 bridges that we finished at $2.1 million. And we had drainage projects, 5 of them at $0.9 million. Just to give you an idea, we almost built 16 miles of widening streetscape projects throughout the city that were added to the system. And we almost built 15 miles of new sidewalks. Now, there are some sidewalks that are existing or repaired they are not counted in this. So those are brand-new sidewalks that had been added to the system. And now I'm going to show you with some of the before and after photos on some of these projects. First one is the Cimarron Road Bridge project. It is south of Southwest 15th Street in Ward 3. We finally accepted it in December 2015 at a cost of $614,924. As you see, there was quite a bit of improvement on that road and bridge there. Another project is a bridge project again on Southwest 59th Street, east of Cemetery Road in Ward 3. Finally accepted December 2015 at a construction cost of $708,423. The next one is another bridge in Ward 1, it's Frisco Road Bridge, south of Northwest 164th Street. It was finally accepted in April 2016 at a cost of $689,463. And as you see, it was a one-lane bridge. We changed it to two-lane plus some shoulders for safety. Next is a park project, Memorial Park. Was finally accepted in December 2015. Construction cost was $2.1 million. And you see some of the before and after pictures. Some of the features we either added or repaired in the park where a new practice soccer field was built. We added 3 new parking spaces. We added playground improvements. We added grand staircase and fountain plaza landscaping at the fountain, which looks very good. And we also resurfaced the tennis courts in the park. Next one is also a park, Woodson Park, which is at 3401 South May Avenue in Ward 3. It was finally accepted May of 2016 at the cost of $5.3 million. Some of the features, we added 3 adults and 15 youth soccer fields in the park. You see the aerial photo of that before and after. A new concession building was built. Also, we added 388 parking spaces. A new baseball field with 80 additional parking space was provided for that. And we also did some playground improvements in the park. Next project is a widening project on Britton Road from MacArthur to Rockwell in Ward 1. We widened it from existing 2 to 3 lanes with bike lane and sidewalk. The neighborhood wanted, they didn't want 4 lanes, and they wanted a 3-lane, which is 2 through lanes with 1 left turn pocket for turning. So we accommodated that. It was finally accepted in January 2016 at the cost of $8 million. Of course, this had a huge water main that water utilities paid for, so the paving part was $3.2 million, and the water line was $4.8 million on this project. Next is another street widening on Northwest 178th Street from Pennsylvania to May, Ward 8. This was done through Oklahoma DOT with federal funds, which covered 80% of the cost. We widened it 2 to 4 lane and built sidewalk. It was completed by ODOT in September 2015, and the total construction cost was $4.1 million. The city's share was $822,250. The next project is also a widening project. This is on Western Avenue from Northwest 164th Street to Northwest 178th Street in Wards 7 and 8. We widened it from 2 existing lanes to 5 lanes, which is two through lane each way and a center left-hand pocket. It was finally accepted in June of 2016. The cost was $7.3 million, and again, there was paving and water line, which was $5.6 million, and then the sanitary sewer was paid for by water utilities at a cost of $1.6 million for this project. Next is a streetscape project, May Avenue, from Northwest 10th to Reno in Ward 6. A major part of this was we placed a signalized intersection at May Avenue and General Pershing. Before, it was not signalized, and there was a lot of ramps, so a lot of turning, a lot of confusion, so this is a very good improvement in that area. It is partly concrete, and then some part of it was also resurfaced in front of the fairgrounds on May Avenue. It was finally accepted April of 2016 at a cost of $2.8 million. All right, next is another streetscape project on Northwest 23rd Street from Ann Arbor to Pinal in Ward 3. We did resurfacing, lights, and sidewalks, finally accepted in March of 2016, and the total construction cost was about $1.9 million. Next is a drainage project at Southwest 44th and May. There was a channel repair done in Ward 3. As you see, there was a lot of broken panels in the channel which were repaired, and a lot of graffiti that was removed. Probably wasn't part of this contract. We have a crew that take care of the graffiti issue. It was finally accepted January 2016, and the construction cost was $96,856. The next project is a residential resurfacing and sidewalk in an area bounded by Eastern, Bryant, Southeast 89th, and Southeast 104th Street in Ward 4. We finally accepted it in March of 2016 at a cost of a little bit over $1 million. As you see, we fixed the street and we put sidewalks and ADA ramps in those residential areas. Next project is also a residential resurfacing that we did resurfacing on sidewalks. This was part of the Southeast 1/6 corner of an area bounded by Western Avenue, I-235, Northwest 10th Street, and Northwest 23rd Street in Ward 6. We finally accepted it in October 2015, and construction cost was $1.1 million. Next project is a new police headquarters building, which is on 700 Colcord Drive, Ward number 6. It was, the grand opening happened on November 2015, and it was finally accepted May of 2016. The cost was about $20.8 million. The next one is also a building project, Southwest Police Briefing Station at 5501 South Portland Avenue in Ward 3. This was finally accepted in May of 2016 at a cost of $2.7 million. And you see some before, during, and after construction. With that, if there's any question, I can answer.
Is he doing any of this? Oh, yeah.
Did, on the park, that we have the soccer and the baseball fields. Are those soccer programs, do they pay a rental fee to the city of Oklahoma City?
That, I need to help.
Parks probably has to answer that.
So at Woodson Park, the city is operating that itself and is operating leagues there, and the leagues pay money. At South Lakes Park and at North Lake Hefner, the soccer clubs just pay a rental, and they operate and maintain those fields. So we're maintaining the fields at Woodson and running the programs there internally, whereas at the other soccer fields, we kind of contract that out, so to speak. So at Woodson, it will be run by the city.
Okay, thank you.
That, I think that's operated by city staff there.
Okay, and just to let you know, in your packet, you have a detailed listing of all the actions and projects that have been completed in last fiscal year.
Thank you, Ahmad.
Thank you.
And I've got a question about, just my ignorance, of course, and not quite understanding all these headings. On this report you're talking about for fiscal year 15 and 16, looking at these headings, and the start date, is that the target date for when the project should start, or when the project should end?
You're looking at the report for fiscal year 15,
16.
Yeah.
Yes.
All of these, every month that we go through city council and we have either the water construction or A&E contract, or we have change order amendments, all of those are recorded in our system, and that's what you see, that throughout the fiscal year, everything that went through city council is reflected here.
I understand that, but I'm looking at what I'm asking you, though, in the headings, the target date, what does that refer to, the target date?
This is when it actually was the target date for the month that it was going to be awarded or happen in that month.
I guess that then refers back to the very last column that don't understand. Construction, and what does that mean, construction? That means
That's, in the
what's going
phase
on.
that the project is in.
That's
So either it's in the preliminary design or is in construction, or it could be in maintenance bond, meaning that the project has been finally accepted and is in the 2-year maintenance bond, which contractor has to fix anything that goes wrong in the 2-year
Right,
period.
okay, yes, I understand that. Okay. But construction then can mean a lot of things. It could mean it's under construction. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it could be under construction. For example, we may need an easement to purchase, and you see some of that here, that, we require some easement for fixing something or building a driveway or whatever it may be, and we need to go ahead and get that easement. So you can see some of that in construction phase, but, there is an easement
Okay.
that was purchased.
Then what would designate that particular effort being completed?
You mean the timeline for that type of action?
In other words, are you asking, when will it show completed?
Yes.
Yes, this is actually the end date where it actually went to city council to purchase, say, that easement, and we paid that amount afterwards that city council approved the easement acquisition.
Okay.
It's probably a separate list of completed.
So it's not on, but that's what I'm trying to find out what that means. So it's not on here, whether the purpose of this is not to talk about, for instance, when that
Right.
project is completed.
Right, the target,
The status of it as of,
exactly, the target date is when we originally estimated when that project was going to be done, or in that action. The council action is the actual that we went to city council and did that task. So, some could be a little bit later than what we estimated at the beginning of fiscal year.
Mike, on page 39, at the bottom, next to the last one, shows, I assume I'm reading this correctly, that council action was taken or is about to be taken, or I assume it's probably already been taken. Final accept project.
Yes, that means that
That's-
has been done.
It does not, and was that final acceptance of the project, is that the date?
Yes.
It's there,
That's the
yeah.
date that it went to
and
the
it's
city
now
council.
going on to the maintenance bond? as you
Exactly, that's right.
see. Yeah. Any other questions or comments? Okay, thank you, Ahmad.
Sure.
Erica's got a presentation here.
Hello. Again, my name is Erica Vandershypen. I'm new to the committee, but I'm just glad to be here. I want to go over the bond executive summary quickly. The first section, activity to date, it shows that year to date, as of the end of June, Public Works awarded, $76,014,364 in projects. That's for the full year. And if you'll notice down, the expenditures in that same box are $51,688,000, and that is just through probably midway of June, a little bit further than that, whereas the year-to-date awarded is the completion of June. And just kind of wanted to make note that the expenditures will remain open while the city closes their final books, and so that number will increase going forward as more expenditures get booked back to June. And likewise, in July next month, there it won't be as much activity in July because they'll be still booking things back to the proper period for accounting. And then if we'll go on to the contract activity, again, you'll see like in June there was no additional expected to be awarded because they were all final as of June 30th. And the upcoming total expected to be advertised in July through September is $11,645,000. In May, in the quadrant 3, in May we took off 2013 because we reached the 85% that's required by the IRS for the 3 years within the sale of the bond. So that 2013 was removed, and we've added 2016 on since that has been sold, and we will continue to track that as we go forward. If you'll look on the fourth image, there is a graph that shows the target contract awards, and Public Works sets a target of around $70 million each year, and you'll notice, as we mentioned earlier, that they did reach that goal, and they're at $76 million for the actual contract awards. And then expenditures will continue to rise as more things are booked. On the next page, there is a graph of the bond fund balance, and it just shows the target encumbered amount and the actual encumbered amount based on for the year activity. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Erica. Any new business? Items from committee members? Anyone? Citizens to be heard? May I have a motion for
So
adjournment?
moved.
And a second? Linda, thank you. Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's passed. Thank you very much. Appreciate so many of you getting here.